What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Euro 2020 fantasy football video. And in this one I'm going to be talking about 5 midfielders to avoid in fantasy football. And I'm going to give you some points as to why I think that. This is just my own opinion. I've picked fairly high owned players. These are all good players, don't get me wrong, but I just think they aren't suitable to Euro 2020 fantasy football to gain you some points. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and hit that subscribe button. Now let's jump into the first player. And up first I picked N'Golo Kante. His very high ownership selected at 34%. He cost 5.5 million and his fixtures are Germany, Hungary and Portugal. So Kante is in the group of death. And here are some reasons why I wouldn't select Kante. Unfortunately, there's no points for ball recoveries, unlike the Champions League fantasy football rules. N'Golo has only one shot in his last 5 games. He attacks very little. He's a defensive midfield player with only one key pass in his last 5 games for France. In the Premier League this season, he's played 30 games, only recording 2 assists and no goal, averaging 0.3 shots per 90 minutes. At 5.5 million, Kante is not the best option. Don't get sucked in by his high ownership. Let's move on to player 2. And player 2 I've selected is Bruno Fernandes, and he's also in the group of death. He's selected by 19% of teams and he costs 10.5 million. His first fixture is favourable against Hungary, followed by Germany and France. And here are some reasons why I would not select Bruno Fernandes. He's not Portugal's main man as Ronaldo is. He's also not on penalties. Ronaldo will be. He's only 2 returns in his last 6 games, 1 goal and 1 assist. He's an expensive option at 10.5 million. I think there's better premium option midfielders in the game than Bruno, and he has restricted output in terms of goals and assists for his country. De Bruyne would be a better pick here. He's the same price and offers more attacking potential and is also on set pieces. Outside of their first game against Hungary, Portugal have tough fixtures against France and Germany. Now let's move on to my third pick. And my third pick is going to be, where is he? He's here. Frankie de Jong. So he's selected by 13% of teams, high ownership, and he comes in at 7 million. His fixtures are favourable. He plays Ukraine, Austria and North Macedonia. And here are some reasons why I would not select Frankie de Jong. In his last 18 games for Netherlands, in the last 2 years, he's only scored 1 goal. In the La Liga this season, he's played 37 matches, scoring 3 goals and notching 4 assists, and only registered 1 shot every 2 games, which is definitely not enough attacking for a fantasy football midfielder. There are definitely other better 7 million options in Euro fantasy football, such as Mason Mount for Chelsea and Chiesa, the Italian, as these offer much more attacking potential. And up next, I've picked Rodri. He comes in at 5 million and he's selected by 12% of teams. He also has favourable fixtures. Up first is Sweden, followed by Poland and Slovakia. Here are some reasons why I would not select Rodri. He doesn't offer attacking threats. In his last 15 games for Spain, he's only scored 1 goal. In his last 34 games in the Premier League this season, he's only scored 2 goals. Like Kante, he is very defensive, and with no points for ball recoveries in Euro fantasy football, he is not worth considering. I would much rather spend an extra 3 million on Fernan Torres, who comes in at 8 million and will offer a lot more attacking potential and finish the season on good form if you're looking for a Spanish midfielder. And finally, my last player. I'll search him in. It's Phil Foden. This might surprise a lot of you. He's selected by 15% of teams and he costs 8 million. Up first he is Croatia, followed by Scotland and Czech Republic. Here are some reasons why I wouldn't select Foden. Don't rage at me. He's obviously a great player and had a fantastic season, but at 8 million, I don't see him starting. England have a lot more experienced players who might be guaranteed starters instead of Foden. The main reason to avoid Foden is not because he isn't a good player, it's because of the risk of him not starting. He's owned by 15% of teams. In his last 3 games for England, he has started one and he's come on as a sub in the other 2 games for England, getting 9 minutes and 7 minutes in those 2 games. So he hasn't got much minutes recently. He's no goal or assist in his last 3 games for England, while England scored 9 goals in them 3 games. So there you go, guys. They're my 5 players that I've picked that I would avoid in Euro 2020 fantasy football. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be posting a lot more Euro 2020 fantasy football content in the coming days. Thank you, and bye bye.